talking about podcasts. We're talking about itty bitty podcast.
Merry Mini Monday, Chunkies.
Wow.
I'm Carter.
I'm Doge. And I'm Jordan, partner.
Merry morning voice Monday.
Yeah,
Merry morning,
big time.
Merry morning mouth.
We got a bad case of morning mouth right now.
Yeah.
I had another M word, but I'm going to save that to when we're talking about Miss Marvel. And I'm going to save that until I was going to plan for today to be a completely wrap up Miss Marvel. There was little nuggets at the end of Miss Marvel that gave me plenty of ideas to fill our entire Mini Monday because there's
conversation.
what I would say are some exciting things happening. I do want to start off by saying, spoiler alert. We've kind of been in a cavalier way, kind of talking about Miss Marvel, but we're going to talk about some stuff that's basically felt more official than ever in the MCU in this episode. And so if you want to hold off on that, if you have interest in watching Miss Marvel, do so. If you don't, but want to see what all the hubbub is about, watch the last 5 minutes of episode 6.
Yeah.
The last episode of Miss Marvel. So before we do that, though, we got several teasers and then what is being called a main teaser. I don't know why it's not like I think that's the first time I've seen that term.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the rings.
Teaser.
The Rings of Power. We got about a 2.5
Dude, I think
minute.
this was the trailer they should have released first.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Because I am on board now.
This trailer's awesome.
This trailer's great. Makes me
One of the
so
things
excited.
that has me on board is I feel like, so Morfydd Clark is the name of the young lady who's playing Galadriel.
Yeah.
Looks exactly like
dude.
Kate Blanchett. Yeah.
And she sounds like her too. And I
Yeah.
think that's a smart play. I don't know if that, I mean, I'm sure that was intentional, but
And young Elrond is excellent as well.
yes, I think
Agreed.
I'm very excited. I think to get some of our score from the original trilogy, it looks like
They need to
$1
be
billion
leveraging all of the Peter Jackson trilogy resources that they have.
Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson.
I agree. It looks gorgeous, and I was already in, but now I'm excited in, especially when you see that release is September, and that's really not that far.
That's so soon.
That's not that far away, and so I wonder why they decided to. Because from what I had understood, it was going to be holiday season of this year. But again, there's a million announcements a day.
there's a holiday
I wonder
biz.
what else is coming out in around Christmas that they're trying to avoid, I wonder.
I have no idea. So it's like someone else doing a Lord of the Rings. Quibi is also doing Lord of the Rings.
Quibi.
And it's coming out. It's going to be to launch the relaunch.
Well, I wonder
900
if-
Quibi
Quibis.
relaunch.
I wonder if season 3 of The Witcher is still planned for this December.
Feels like the
be
same
it.
crowd. I think what maybe the studios don't understand is the people like the three of us would watch them both. Just release them both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I've
maybe
never
we're
been-
the minority. Maybe most people are like, one show at a time, man.
Yeah, just one at a time. One show at a time is impossible, especially for this podcast.
Yeah.
Because, it's the work we do. I do want us to talk about Miss Marvel. Let's talk about it as a whole.
Yeah, sure.
How we normally do with our MCU shows. And then with that big tease at the end, we'll spend the better part of the second half of this podcast with a fun little activity that I have for everybody. But Miss Marvel wrapped just this last week on Wednesday release. And this episode, I would say, is like my second favorite.
Yeah.
Or possibly favorite of the series. They've bookended with their monies, it feels like, production-wise.
Look, here's the thing. There are two different shows inside of Miss Marvel. There is a really good show with cool editing, really creative shots and scenes. And it's this story about this street level young Muslim girl that lives in New Jersey who is worried that she won't find support and acceptance and finds support and acceptance by the people around her. That's a great show. I'm interested in that show. Then there's episodes 3, 4, 5, which is generic superhero bad show, I would say, that other than the Aisha part, which I thoroughly enjoyed, Everything else, the story about Kamala going to Karachi should have been really cool, and it just wasn't. It was
time for it.
It was boring, man. Because it was rushed, and all the stuff with the jinn. I can't remember the name that they give themselves.
The clandestines.
Clandestines.
Yeah.
Boo, thumbs down, boo.
Dude, I think it's a much better show.
Superhero schlock, dude.
So the problem, they've kind of backed themselves into a corner because it's a much better show if you cut out all of the Jinn stuff. We need absolutely none of that.
Correct.
We can stay in Jersey City. We can have the final showdown at the high school. She's trying to evade damage control the whole time. I love that. I think that's a fantastic show, a great first season of a show about a high school superhero, but because
it still pays off with her community rallying around her without even knowing who she is.
But because she is, wasn't and now maybe is born with these powers versus just found them from the magic bangle, we now have to spend 3 or 4 episodes explaining the bangle, and that totally derails and unfocuses the show to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you feel like it even negates all that work because she was born with them, we actually don't need the bangle explained. Like, because they've decided to make her a mutant, we don't need the bangle explained at all.
That's a little confusing to me, right? Because like if we're gonna conjure the specter of a genetic mutation, then why does she need the MacGuffin to be able to do this? Why do her powers need to be hard light? Like, why is it not just...
Maybe it's more like the mutation was woken up.
So she's an Inhuman then, basically. If the genetic discrepancy was awoken by an external force, that's Inhumans, right? That's their powers are activated through the Terrigen Mists. And so we've swapped the Terrigen Mists with the bangle here, but...
Well, I would say that the Inhumans explicitly are the Terrigen Mists, and she's something different. So no, maybe not quite an
No, I'm saying they're just doing the Inhumans thing here, just like with a little swap of what's going on. And
that would be my guess. Or
it feels like they're probably going to...
bangle just caused her to believe in herself for the first time.
Maybe that's the real mutation. That's the genetic anomaly. Nobody actually believes in themselves.
For the longest time, I thought I was a pre-ground guy, but whole bean is my favorite. I just wanted to sound like I know something. It has nothing to do with what you were talking about, but
we are drinking
But
coffee,
it was words that came out of your face.
It was words.
And
it looked like if I was still muted, you would be like, he's in.
I'm looking at the judges. Technically, that counts
the...
as podcasting. The judges are giving you a thumbs up all across the board. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Everybody's really excited.
Like that counts.
My super dump for the series, I think, is that the MCU got caught up in they weren't creative in the release of information. Like, we can go ahead and let's drop mutant in episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then just start to make it about that. I think y'all are making a great point. I think my super pump for the whole series is Kamala's family. I continue to enjoy the most just how warm this was. This felt like a legitimate and not sitcom-y. I think it's really easy when you've got a family that loves each other, especially their kid in high school. It can feel sitcom-y, and we didn't do that. We ended up doing this well, and it has me really encouraged for that vibe, because I think that's also kind of a vibe when you have a group of heroes introduced all together that like grew up together. Yeah. And so I hope we start to see that dynamic a little bit more. Not necessarily that you can use the juice of what the writers and directors did of this series, but
my super pump is similar for the show. My super pump is just the casting all around, particularly of our Jersey City folks. I just think that kind of core cast of that story with her family and then her friends in high school is all cast and acted really well, which is something I could think if it wasn't acted well and if it wasn't cast well, it could sort of skew a little CW-y.
I was going to say the same thing.
It would have been very easy for it to turn into like the seasons of Arrow that nobody was excited about, but
all of them.
But it was good. I think it was really good. I was really happy with that. I found
out like only recently that there's been several iterations of The Flash within the last like 15 years. Like,
what do you like?
Like I didn't know that there's a whole Flash universe that already exists.
Yeah, there's a CW show.
That's crazy.
I watched the first episode of, and then no more episodes of.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail there.
Yeah.
I think Iman Vellani is wonderful.
Yes. Yeah. She's incredible.
She's so fun. She's super fun. And she's unique. I think for a while I was like, oh, this is just a Haley Steinfeld again. But Yeah, I think she came into her own in this, and she's been someone fun too to watch like in media junkets.
Yes.
That's always a fascinating aspect with me.
Because it feels
when
like
you
she's a
get to
little
see
playing
people.
herself
Yeah.
in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yep.
I think that's a blast. How do we feel about, I don't understand how it happened when we basically looked like the Bengal became a portal or she switched spots with Captain Marvel. What is
So-
that about, guys?
So I was doing some research.
Fun to see
I was
Brie Larson.
I have no idea what's happening. One of the first things that she does in the comics after she gets her powers, and it's like her powers are like shape changing. She like, if I'm remembering correctly, accidentally like shape shifts into Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. But I don't think that's what's happening here. I think this is actual Carol Danvers here. And so in the comics, the guy who was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers, Marvel, had it was like I think in the 70s or 80s maybe he was banished to like the negative zone but could be summoned back to our world to fight crime with the help of his teenage sidekick Rick Jones. And Rick Jones had, I know it's stupid, Rick Jones,
Also amazing rap mogul.
Rick Jones had nega bands. So these bracelets called the nega bands that you could use to summon Marvel from the negative zone, come out and fight crime, and then go back to hell, I guess. And so I guess they're switching places. Maybe the Bengal's gonna be a nega band. I don't know. We'll find out next summer in Captain Marvel 2.
When people talk about, and I'm guilty of it too, when people are like, "That's not how the comics are," and I'm that same way sometimes. That's not how the comics are. It's different.
Comics are stupid, dude.
When you hear people explain Rick Jones summoning Marvel from hell with cool bracelets, it's like maybe they should change some of this.
Yeah, no, it's
Just
dumb.
all the names are also so cool or
It's
unique.
definitely
And then
dumb.
you got
Like Rick
Jones.
Have no fear, Derek is here.
Derek is
Here
here.
to save you. It's me,
Jordan, have you
Derek.
said like a super pump or super dump for the series?
For the series, no, my super dump is Kamran. Boo, Kamran. I think that the writing for Kamran was awful. We forgot what to do with him in the middle.
Yeah.
And then by the
Yeah.
time he gets his powers, it's like nobody tell him his mom blew up in a portal. And then also, I guess if I'm going to tack on a super dump, if his mom sacrificed herself to the portal in order to close it, that was unclear because it seemed to me like she was like, no, I can still make it through, and then died anyway. And then Kamala
It felt like
was like,
empowering him.
your mom thought of you in the last moments to save you. And I was like, is that what happened?
Did she? It felt like
That's
she was
how
like
I read that at all.
empowering
made
him
super
to
clear.
continue her mission or something.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I thought that she was like, I'm just going to pass on my powers in case I die, but I'm going home
Yeah.
without that nerd. And then she died.
Maybe she was. Maybe she'll be back.
I did not read that as she thought of you in her last moments. I
Yeah,
read
I
that.
didn't either.
I read that as like, can't take it with you.
Yeah.
And then stepped into
I had a
death.
similar.
Because we know
I had a similar vibe.
powers don't work once you're dead.
And also, we just know anybody can hand their powers to anybody through space and time. At any
Yeah,
given
here you
point.
go.
Yeah.
Also, anytime we say Bengal, it makes me feel like we're in the deep South talking about tigers.
Yeah. A Bengal tiger.
Did you see he got him a new Bengal kitten?
I'll super pump.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Go.
I'll super pump as well. My super pump is everything Jersey City specific. Everything that is Kamala living in her neighborhood, interacting with the people around her, both as Nightlight and as Kamala. I just think that the ground level family, friend, and like mosque stuff was so well written and so fun and so charming that it almost makes up for how boring and bad 3, 4, 5 are. It doesn't quite. I'll never watch this again, but I almost would want to give it a second watch because those parts are so strong.
I'd skip the middle.
Is there any MCU show that Miss Marvel is above for you on your ranking of MCU shows?
Yeah, probably Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Honestly, yeah, probably that's it.
You know, as I re-examine Moon Knight in my head, and we're talking a lot about problems that we have with the MCU not connecting to itself right now. Here's my if I'm relitigating my Moon Knight opinions, I think that the show itself is like a 6.57. It's fine. If it doesn't connect to the MCU, like I'm realizing that the draw of Marvel things to me, right, like because that's been what they have sold themselves with since the beginning, pretty much, is that it's an interconnected story. So if Moon Knight was just a little standalone one-off series that they did, then that show was okay and should have been a million times better. If they're really going to shirk the chains of being tied down to the MCU, then that should have been infinitely better. So like,
It's
if
like
it
we talked
really
about-
doesn't connect, then maybe I like this better than Moon Knight too.
There's stuff with Moon Knight, though, that's a little like we talked about last week, where it was like, that's an opportunity that we've missed. Like, it feels like we should have seen at least some sort of Egyptian presence in Omnipotent City last week when we were watching Thor
I
Ragnarok,
agree.
Thor Love and Thunder, right?
Right.
It's just like little
Which,
stuff
for
like
all
that.
we know, someone's like, well, see over here. It's like the
Yeah,
new,
sure.
all the fun new satellite telescope pictures.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if you see over here, there was actually raw. I mean, they mentioned
That character
They mentioned,
you're doing right now has a laser pointer for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just circling things on a
if you
projector
look
screen.
right over here, I know it's a lot to soak in, kids, but follow me down to the lower left-hand corner. We're going
That
to take a break.
is
But
Uranus.
do we have anything,
Dumb tis.
anything else to add about Miss Marvel right now?
Well, I don't think I super dumped.
Well, too late.
Is the boring ones is my super dump.
Yeah, it's
The boring ones?
sucks.
Yeah.
And where did the editing go? It made the show
I know.
cool and unique and good. And then we
Yeah,
just
that
said
disappeared.
nothing. Let's go
We're
make
like,
money.
it just takes so long, so sorry. I want to talk mutants. That's kind of what I woke up yesterday and today wanting to talk about.
Sure.
This mutants tease at the end still it made sense to me for the story. And I don't know if that was already canon, that Miss Marvel
Not at all. That's actually
has a mutation.
not even close to canon. Ms. Marvel is definitely not a mutant.
And methinks me heard the animated series
Yes.
music.
Yeah, there's
Is
a
that
little
what
bit
that
of
was?
that X-Men 90s animated series theme behind them, just
How
like we
fun
played
is
it behind
that?
Patrick Stewart in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha.
that. That's
So
fun.
that might be because I heard it recently too. I was totally down for it. I just felt like it was I've been a pouty toddler, and then they took out like my favorite snack or something. Someone
Yeah.
did, and I was like, okay, sure, I'm in. I'm back. It's great. Let's do this.
Pretzel sticks.
It feels like they're folding in Inhumans and mutants in the MCU because the main difference is that Inhumans are born
Catalyst.
normal, exactly, and then something activates their power, and mutants are born, with wings or with scales or what. They're just like born weird.
To be honest with you, this might be controversial for hardcore Marvel fans, but like, fine. Fine. Combine them.
I feel like that's
complicated. It's
I think
so-
that's how you have to do it here because we've had a decade of interconnected storytelling with no reference to mutants. You cannot say, hey, these guys have been here the whole time. And like some people have been having blue babies and they're discriminated against and they're kind of social pariahs, but we haven't mentioned it in the last 15 years, Like it
something
has
about
to be.
the blip. We I don't remember if this is
Yeah.
a podcast conversation or just a friendship conversation, but I remember saying it's very possible that something about the blip has activated or created
The radiation,
mutations. Yeah.
exactly, of 2 snaps 5 years apart on planet Earth has created some sort of mutation in DNA. Yeah.
Or activated some sort of mutation in
Sure,
DNA.
which would be
Maybe-
somewhere in between Inhumans and mutants, which is so funny
It's fine to me.
because in 2010 and 11, the mutants were kind of shoved to the side in Marvel Comics in favor of really, really pushing the Inhumans so we could eventually get the Inhumans in the MCU.
Right.
And then the TV show bombed. And so now they're like, actually, we'll just buy Fox and do mutants that way anyway.
Yeah. JK. They're here. And in honor of that, what I want to do is we're going to put a chunky stamp on.
So excited about this.
Today
Yeah,
we're
this
gonna
will be fun.
we're just gonna make our call. I've collected a list because one of the first things I think about, and I'm sure several people did when we start to mention mutants, is, hey, all of your favorite characters, who on earth are they going to get to play that? And by the way, they can. They have
get
the
anyone.
studio has already
Yeah.
proved that they'll go ahead and do what you want.
Yeah, that's why
If-
casting MCU is so fun, dude.
It's a blast.
Yeah, get
There's really
anybody.
nothing you can't do. So what we've done, and we'll do this after the ad break,
Okay.
is I've prepared a list of 10. And this was just 10 that I pulled from several lists online of the most popular X-Men. I wanted to bring in several of the like issue 1 X-Men, just in case. That feels like a good place for them to start, knowing that we don't really know where the MCU is going to go with this, but we're going to have a blast. And so we're all going to try and cast who we feel like would be the best to play these roles. This is something that naturally the three of us would have been doing with a bunch of our friends if this podcast existed or not. I think it's just a fun thing to sit around and say, who do you think is best? And so the reason I say we're putting a chunky stamp on it here is if you're in our Discord, what we're going to do today is after we've done this, if we say we all want Ellen DeGeneres to play Wolverine, well then that's in. It's got the chunky stamp. We're going up there. We're putting our money on that number, okay, to say we think that this is what's going to happen, because it would just kind of be fun to call our shot.
And I think that would make it a really good movie if Ellen was playing Wolverine.
And it would make it a great movie. But if we have some disagreements here, which normally the way this goes is like, oh my God, that's a great idea. I haven't thought of that, but we won't change our minds. If we've got 3 different ideas, then we'll take it over to our Discord chat and have our Discord community vote on who they feel like should be the representative from this community of who we think will be. We're just calling our shots.
Yeah.
So we'll do that after the ad break.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to hire a professional voice actor and pay him absurd amounts of money to say,
I like this product.
Not sure why that was better. I mean, I'm a professional too, but we didn't pay him to say the business part, so back to me. Save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. Sorry, I know hearing me say it was a bit of a letdown. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
I'm ready.
Welcome back. Welcome back. He's ready.
Wait, I'm ready.
Doge is ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Welcome back. This is going to be this episode has a bit of a mutation, but we're just going to deal with it because I think the listeners are excited about it too. That was really good.
That was the little synth thing that played.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I
it was also
know.
Jeff Goldblum being very excited to play this game.
Yeah. Okay. Which he's one of my. I'm kidding. He's not.
He's playing Gambit.
I have a list of 10, and here's the thing.
Y'all aren't ready for my list.
With the MCU, people, especially with X-Men, there's so many, y'all. It would be like having to pick 10 Pokemon. Like it's pretty ridiculous. There's going to be some stuff that's omitted for you. If you wanted to add like an 11th, you can either recommend that in Discord and just talk about it. It won't become official. If you really, really were like, oh, I can't believe you didn't include Jubilee or something like that, that's fine. Get together with some of your friends and start a podcast, and then y'all can do it.
The only one that I'm going to add to your list that is immutable, unchangeable for me is Carly Rae Jepsen playing Dazzler.
Okay. Perfect. That's totally fine.
Cool.
I don't even know. Should we start with the big names?
No, I'd say we go down the list.
Go down the order that you sent. Yeah.
So we'll go the order I sent, and we're going to start with the quintessential, probably most successful mutant in cinema.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I had a hard time because
it is hard to cast
I'm not
this
even going
role.
to say.
No,
it's so
not.
hard.
You're going to pick the guy from
Jordan says it's
Letterkenny.
not.
Yes, of course I am. He's literally perfect.
I think he's great. What's his name?
Jared Kiso.
Jared Kiso. I do love that, and I would love if it was a fan-fueled thing. Of all the mutants, of all the X-Men, having a fan-fueled casting of Wolverine would be the most fun.
Yeah, and he's Canadian, he's jacked, and he's not particularly tall. He can grow a sick beard.
Perfect.
I really think that he would be... So yeah, I guess I'm going first by that nature. Wolverine, my pick is Jared Kiso from Letterkenny.
Jared Kiso. I say Taron Egerton.
I do too. Taron Egerton. Yeah.
I think Egerton's great.
Does that mean Egerton's our official pick, or it has to be all
No, we
three
all
of
have
us?
to.
Okay.
It has to be all 3 of us. Yeah. It just means there'll be 2 options there.
Gotcha.
But I think Egerton's great, and I think he's got a little bit of...
He's got a little heat on him.
Spoiler,
of heat
I have
on him.
Egerton elsewhere on my list.
I think I have an idea as to where you might have him.
Same.
I don't think you do.
Professor X.
Okay.
I'm going to say... Wait, Doge, I figured
yeah.
you just go with it.
Mark Strong.
Oh.
Yeah.
I dig that. And he hasn't been in the MCU
So
yet.
far,
he's
you've
not.
only cast Kingsman cast members.
Surprise.
Kingsman fan.
Yeah.
Magneto, Colin Firth.
Yeah.
Not bad. My Professor X, Sterling K. Brown.
Ooh, he has been in the MCU though.
I know, but
the thing.
we've done this before.
Yeah.
He has, and he's gone.
Yeah,
So
that's true. He died in the 90s.
Sure.
He died, and it was like a minor role, and we've kind of done things like this already.
Gosh,
in the
I love
MCU.
Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, I do too.
But I think
I guess
he
Gemma
has
Chan's been in twice.
his voice. For me, both of these people, I think X and Magneto have to have
They have to have the
these voices, and
voices.
that could be the
Yeah.
McKellen Stewart effect. That you're like, wait, these have to. And then they did Fassbender and McAvoy, so it's like it
So
needs to
two
be
plain voices after two good ones.
Yeah.
So-
So Sterling K. Brown, Professor X for me.
I like that a lot.
I do too.
Jordan.
I have 2 for Professor X and 2 for Magneto. I have an old and a young, depending on which direction we want to lead.
Right. That's what I was curious about.
So
Yeah. Mine went old in this, and everyone else is young.
I'll go old for both and then young for both.
Yeah.
If that's okay. Like, can I do 2 back to back? Is that all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my Professor X old cast, shave his head, gravitas, Denzel Washington.
I love that.
Bring him in.
That's funny.
Bring
I
him
love
in.
it. I love it.
Let him Denzel out. You know what I mean? My old Magneto cast alongside Denzel, Daniel Craig, dude.
I thought about Daniel Craig for Magneto.
Daniel Craig came up a lot for me.
he's
too.
a delicious
He's so good.
Magneto.
And he's getting, I don't know if it's the bond of it all. He's aging well. Like, I think he's about to have another career of like being like this older Brit, which
No.
it's in your genes if you're a good Hollywood British actor.
Here's my young cast for both. This is the one I'm most excited about is the young cast for both. And it all stemmed from this idea, which is young Professor X, John David Washington. Bring it to me. Bring it to me.
I dig it.
Young Magneto, are you ready?
Yeah.
Really lean in. Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
He was in a lot of Wolverine rumors.
I was about to
How
say.
weird
Oh, was he
Yeah.
really?
People are rumoring him
not
for
do that.
Wolverine big time.
Interesting. I just think he's a fantastic actor now.
Yeah.
And could do a really great job as Magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it a lot. So if Sterling K. Brown is my Professor X, Magneto is Idris Elba for me.
Yeah. I couldn't separate him from Heimdall. I don't think.
Just again.
He's been a
Just
big
again.
enough character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's tough. Is
See, I had Chris Hemsworth
could
as
not.
it, and I was just like, maybe he'll be Thor and Magneto.
maybe I can't do it, and it's so hard too because you forget that people are in it. But I was like,
Is this your way of saying you forgot that Idris Elba was in it?
No. I knew he was. We literally just did that last week. But yeah, it's probably not going to make it. But
Magneto for
wishful
me.
thinking.
So again, my Professor X is Mark Strong. Mark Strong was born in 1963. My Magneto is Jason Isaacs, who was also born 1963.
I like Jason Isaacs.
Magneto was very important for me to get the voice.
Yeah,
Sure.
it had to be good. That's where my Elba stuff came from too.
Elba's
Feeling-
voice
feeling
is
less good
so
about that.
great.
One of my favorite castings was Jean Grey. So this is our
this was
fourth
fun.
X-Men here. And I'm saying Hunter Schafer. Hunter Schafer is of Euphoria fame.
Yep.
I think MCU would be silly in general. Zendaya obviously is already in the MCU.
Do you want her as Jean Grey, though? That hasn't stopped you yet.
I can do that. It hasn't
Yeah.
stopped me yet. I'm not going to go back and retroactively change that. I know that the comic books tend to do things like that, and they could just fix it and have an excuse. I'm just going to live in the real world a little bit. And the Idris Elba thing was a mistake. But yeah, Hunter Schafer as Jean Grey.
I like that
for
a
me.
lot.
I don't know.
Did you guys tend to go? Did you guys tend to go younger for your X-Men cast versus?
I am all over the place, dude.
Okay. I tried to stay like 35 or under for a lot of my X-Men cast
I did too.
because I don't want to get another 50-year-old cast. I'm like, great, you're there for 2 movies and then you die again.
See, my thought process was I want young and old mutants. If it's all appearing out of nowhere, it would make sense that people of all ages are affected. But also, I want the MCU to bring in some more young talent and some more like seasoned talent as well. Because I feel like we're bringing in a lot of very young talent.
Right.
And I'd
Can
like
I change my Magneto?
Yeah.
I'm going back. I had just said all that. Giancarlo Esposito.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That's tasty.
Boy got heat on him right now too.
He do. He do.
He's never not had heat.
Yeah, but between
Yeah.
The Boys and Better Call Saul, he's all over my
That
TV
would be
right now.
really fun. I almost, if it makes you feel better, I almost cast Carl Urban as Wolverine, but then I realized he was in Thor Ragnarok.
Carl Urban was
Yeah.
almost my beast pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we want to, we'll honor.
Yep.
I'll try and honor people who use
Jean
it.
Grey for me is Anya Taylor-Joy, ATJ.
Yeah, dude,
Dude,
that
I
was
came
almost.
close to
I
this
almost
too.
did that.
That's a good cast.
ATJ, but not Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Sure.
The other
very
ATJ.
much as well.
Yeah, who's also already been in the MCU.
My Jean Grey cast was Saoirse.
Mutant. Oh,
She
my
just came
God.
instantly
great.
to my brain.
That's really good.
I love this.
I saw the streak in the hair. I think she would crush it.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing. There are,
Are you
so
thinking
many.
of
That's Rogue,
Are you
by
thinking
the
of
way.
Rogue? Streak in the hair. That's Rogue.
With the white streak?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I was.
Jean Grey,
Okay.
Phoenix, redhead.
Incredibly embarrassing. Actually, you know what? I'm sticking with it, though. Can I be
think you
real with
should.
you?
That's still good. Yeah.
I
think you
definitely
should.
was thinking of Rogue.
No. I think you should stay with it.
I am.
Here's the thing. There's a million phenomenal young actresses in Hollywood right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was so hard. I like all of these and would be happy with all of them. There's probably 8 more.
Well, I can tell you who it's
Yep.
going to be is Sadie Sink, but that's who it's
No.
actually going to be.
No, you're talking about like for our official one, we haven't given them that option to choose her.
No, I'm telling you who's going to get cast in this movie as Jean Grey, as a young Jean Grey, as Sadie Sink.
I don't think so.
Sure.
Maybe though.
Sure, he says.
Maybe though.
Cyclops.
I have
I'm
two.
going to get
I have two options.
I'm going to get him in the MCU somehow. I said I want him as Human Torch. But Glenn Powell is actually who I'm going
Yeah,
to say
sure.
for Cyclops here. And he's just on, I think he's just on the, Glenn Powell also almost feels a little too old. But
Yeah.
I'm still going to say Glenn Powell here.
My two picks. My first is John David Washington, who we've already talked about. Need a younger, conventionally attractive leading man.
Sure.
The other, I think Marvel could really use an opportunity to make the boy moose go wah, Princess Diaries style, and really bring this person into the fold and say, you have a career here forever now. We could have Joe Keery as Cyclops, Steve Harrington
Doge?
from Stranger Things.
Doge, my
that who you
Cyclops
picked?
pick is Joe Keery.
Yeah.
I think that he would
I think that would be really fun.
perfection
Yeah.
Yeah.
as Cyclops. He was the first
be really
and
good.
only name that came to mind for Cyclops.
Yep.
That's so fun.
He would be really good. He had come up on my list. He didn't end up making it, but I hadn't considered him for Cyclops.
Yeah.
There's definitely, it does feel like our popular kids table. It's like also who's hot right now.
Yeah.
Who do we feel like people should be? Storm was Zoe Kravitz, and there was like,
Yeah, that's good.
there's nothing. Why? How could you not?
I have two for
Like
Storm as well.
Okay.
I got narrowed it down to two and then was like, it just depends on how old we want to make this main cast. If we want Storm, I could see it being cool if Storm was like a surrogate, like a field leader for the X-Men, especially if Cyclops is new. If she's like essentially deputized by Professor X.
Yeah.
And so in that case, if she's older than the rest of the main cast, I think Keke Palmer could play that pretty well. She's got a lot of heat with Nope right now. And we could
She's awesome.
send her back up into the stratosphere. No weather pun intended. But if we want a Storm who's closer to the same age as the rest of the cast, we could do Amanda Stenberg from The Hate You Give.
It's really
what?
funny to me
Oh,
that
oh.
Keke Palmer is your old cast for.
I know. She's about the
That's
same
like
age.
as young as I would have ever wanted to go for.
She's
Storm.
about the same. Well, I think she can play older than the rest of my cast that I've got here.
Sure.
Yeah.
My Storm came to me of all the names on this list for real, other than Jared Kiso that I had already thought about. This was the one that like I got to Storm and was just like, well, of course, and then typed this person's name, Regina King, dude.
Oh yeah,
It was like it came to me like a dream.
that's really good.
Yeah.
An
we've
elder,
seen her
an
super
elder Storm.
before.
Storm requires a gravitas
Exactly.
that I think we have seen from her in a really cool way, and I think she would absolutely crush that.
Yeah.
Cinderella story. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny because I have Hilary Duff as Beast, so it's funny they'd be back
That's
again.
Very good.
Wow.
Very good.
So Nightcrawler.
I'm so
took
excited about
everything-
my cast for this.
I
one.
am too.
It took everything in me not to say Timmy Shellman here because it is funny that we
love
joked before. I'm trying to get off that stuff.
I'm trying to quit him.
Can't quit you.
This is where Shursa showed up for me. I think it's
Cool.
an easy gender switch for that.
Yeah.
I don't think it even
Nightcrawless.
Nightcrawless. The Nightcrawlet. Yeah.
That's very
So
good.
I've got Shursa as Nightcrawler.
I'll go first for Nightcrawler because I'm hyped out of my mind, and it's our newfound catapulted to fame overnight little boy Joseph Quinn, Eddie Munson. I just
fun.
think that he is a beautiful, beautiful boy that I love very much, and Nightcrawler is one of my favorite mutants. So I just put him there because I love him so much.
Now, I have a question for you. Do we want Nightcrawler to be traditionally beautiful, or do we want him to be a little Bush Baby-esque? Because if we want him to be a little Bush Baby-esque,
Steve Buscemi.
might I suggest Asa Butterfield?
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can suggest it. Can we go back to Cyclops really quick?
Yeah.
I didn't think I would be changing this much. We said Kelly, yeah? What's
Joe Keery?
Joe Keery.
Keery,
Yeah.
who played
Steve Harrington.
I'm going to change that, and then no one can.
'Cause you like it
that'll
that
be
much?
locked in stone.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
locked in stone. Perfect.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
That can't not be.
I'm
Sorry.
happy with
We're
that.
in. That's in.
Sorry,
So we're moving on.
Discord, the one immutable casting decision. Build an
Joe
X-Men
Keery
team
is so
around Joe Keery.
Yes, please.
I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is perfect for that. Nightcrawler's fun. Nightcrawler could be, I don't know, even with Nightcrawler's mutant powers of just being able to just kind of, it's not really even phasing, is it? I think they did a really
It's
good
teleporting.
job
It's poofing.
of the look of that teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
When we did it, even in the old Fox series.
I think I'm just desperate to get Joseph Quinn in anything.
somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah. My Beast is someone who has had experience with the prosthetic, because I think Beast, you're going to have to be acting through makeup
Yeah.
a little bit, but I'm going to keep it younger, and I'm going to say Bill Skarsgård.
Fun.
Oh, I kept
Beast.
it in the family, Carter.
Alexander.
Yep.
Yeah, both
And
very
I did
good.
Stellan. I did their dad. No.
No, all you have to do for Alexander is just paint him
Yeah,
blue.
that's
You
what
don't
I
have
was
to do
thinking. He's so
CGI.
big, dude.
So I disagree. I think Beast is going to be a fully CG creation to separate it from blue-furred Frazier Crane that we had in the older X-Men's.
Which is wild that Kelsey Grammer was Beast.
So again, we're going for the voice, and if we want to take it more of, so there's basically two Hulks in the MCU, right? There's the Hulks that happened before Ragnarok, and then there's the funny, goofy Hulk that kids take selfies with after Ragnarok. And so I think there's two routes we could go with Beast. We could go like the serious, like the gravitas, the voice that you want, and I want Dev Patel for that Hulk. I think
I like that.
that could be a very brilliant Hulk. And if we want a funny,
You're talking about
sorry, for
Beast?
Beast,
You're talking
for
about
Beast, for Beast.
Yeah.
Dev Patel for if we go the serious route. If we do a bit of the stunt casting that Marvel likes to do, where they're like, we're going to take this funny boy and make him be serious-ish in your movie, and he's going to be kind of the comic relief, Sam Richardson.
From, what's Sam Richardson from?
I was looking for my phone. It's right here. I'm trying to think. He is,
Oh, yeah.
I think
And
you should leave, and Veep. Yeah.
He's great.
I just did the after party, which if you haven't watched that, you should.
He did.
He's great. He's really funny too.
Yeah. Beast,
I like that.
Beast feels like the one character here where they can basically, it feels like they're going to do their own thing with Beast. Because honestly, I think Kelsey Grammer was a fantastic Beast.
I do too. I think it worked well. That's fine. There's Skarsgårdian. There's something, they just are intelligent and intimidating, all of them, in some way to me. I like all of these. Iceman for me was Austin Butler.
Oh,
If the MCU wants him, they're going to have to move quick
yeah.
because he's just about to gobble up
I've
some-
heard that DC is looking at him. They're trying to grab him.
Yeah.
Maybe for a new Flash. I don't know.
I mean, that'd be good too.
Yeah.
But Butler's great.
This is where Taron Egerton showed up for me.
Okay.
As Iceman. I think that is.
I feel that.
See, I want somebody I want somebody to be able to play really timid Iceman of like, he is like double double unsure of who he is because he's a mutant and also gay. And I think that's the story that we really need to play out with Iceman here. So I've got Jaden Martell in this role. Like a smaller presence, a lot more timid presence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good.
One of us.
I've already made too many
one of us has
switches,
forgotten who
but I'm not going to.
Jaden Martell is in It. He's also in Knives Out.
Oh, yeah.
He's phenomenal.
See, y'all
great.
are leaning so much younger than I want to. I would actually be pretty disappointed if our X-Men cast was as young as our average age here is, I think.
I think that a story like X-Men First Class is the way to go here. Though, like I really do
Austin
think
Butler's 30.
Sorry,
going that young.
you must have misheard me. I didn't say as one person that you said. I said as just our general average suggestion age.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I think I want it. I am hesitant to let the MCU become like our oldest, most experienced hero is like 36 and has been doing it for 3 years. Like, I want to make sure that we keep casting adults in some of these roles as
Benedict and Wanda, they're still around. Liz Olsen's there.
Yeah.
They're getting older.
I just think the way to do this is like our named characters that we're super familiar with. I think we need to catch them younger. And like we can have the presence of older mutants, but if they're the secondary team and the whole movie is Xavier being like, you are the future, like you are young enough that you can basically set the public perception of people like us. And so you have to lead this team. I don't know. I like the idea of going younger. I guess it's just a preference thing.
Yeah. Well, I think especially contractually, it took so long to say like mutation in the MCU and talk about mutants. It felt like, or at least for it to be as big a deal as it was at the end of Ms. Marvel, like they are most certainly going to have these characters be in this movie franchise for a really long time. And so I think if it is going to be a long contract like that, it's either got to be somebody who feels like they don't really age much or someone you're prepared to have for the long haul. Gambit is the last of the X-Men here. Gambit's so fun. I think Miles Teller would be a great
I thought about Miles Teller.
Me too.
Gambit.
Austin Butler is my Gambit.
Yeah, that's also very good.
It feels like when somebody's got a project like Elvis, when he has that kind of heat around him, it's inevitable that before the year is over, maybe next week at San Diego Comic-Con, we're going to get an announcement of Austin Butler is playing this super guy.
I don't know Austin Butler very well. I haven't seen Elvis yet.
Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great in that too.
Yeah, I just don't know his work very much outside of a couple of things. The heat of something like Elvis is when somebody gets cast in the midst of the heat of something like this is when I get nervous that it's like...
Yeah. It feels risky, eh?
It's like, does he have the resume or did he have one really good project that he starred in? Mm-hmm. But, I did the same thing with Joseph Quinn, so we'll see. You never know.
Who's your Gambit?
Who's Gambit?
I'm glad you asked. I got 3 words for you. All right. All right. All right. Picture it. Smoky bar. Card table. He's hustling somebody.
I mean, it's perfect. Much older.
I'm gonna say I actually would love him to play somebody scary. I'd rather have McConaughey as a villain. I mean, McConaughey is my dream Norman Osborn in the MCU.
Yeah, he'd be fantastic. I think that as Gambit, I think that he's got that Southern charm. I think that he's a little like McConaughey, his natural, the way he is charming is kind of like smarmy, like a little like.
I think you just said you think he's got that Southern charm.
Oh, he has.
I want to make sure that Two Chunks believes he
as an organization, it's our official position.
Yeah, there's no
that he
thinking
has
about
it.
it.
Sorry, I just meant
Yeah.
I think
He is
I
it.
think, and
Yeah,
then I said
you're fine.
list point number 1 is what I more meant. But I think that Gambit is kind of darkly foreboding. And so I think that McConaughey, his tall,
Chaotic
lanky,
good.
sinewy muscle kind of a thing. I don't know. I had visions of Smokey Bar hustling people at cards. Somebody says something he doesn't like and he throws a card and it just like sticks in the wall, and he's like, I wouldn't touch that if I were you. Like that kind of whole, his true detective comes out of him a little bit. I don't know, man. It became so crystallized in my brain.
I do like that. That's fun. Yeah.
You just like hear him like, That's so fun.
That's really fun.
I dig it. I mean, it's obviously a fit.
Yeah.
Sure.
An absolute fit. If you would like your opinion on our opinions heard,
jump in that Discord.
Come over to drop into that Discord. We'll be doing that. It's not going to, I promise you, it will not be floodgated upon you. And there's just this thread full of all of these options all at once. We're going to slow play this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we want to try and take this seriously because it's the chunky stamp. Yeah. This community in Discord has been a blast to see just their opinions are great. Like even if I disagree with them, it's a bunch of people that are clearly passionate about movies and a lot of them the MCU. It's kind of hard not to be right now. Well, passionate maybe is not the right word for that, but into it.
Yeah.
Because it's been around long enough. It's so bizarre to me. So as a professor, like there's just new waves of 18-year-olds that come into my life.
Yeah, it keeps happening over and over again.
These like college
They say
freshmen,
the same age.
for sure, the most of their life, the MCU has existed, which is just absolutely.
Like a lot of them were probably born in the theater while Iron Man was playing.
Like they're like there.
An
They're born there.
18-year-old today would have been 4 years old when the MCU began.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am actually old and made of bones. I will soon crumble to dust. Now that you've informed me of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Bizarre. Yes. To end today's episode, I want you to give me your name, and I want you to tell me which X-Men you would play.
Oh, ooh.
What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that? I'm Carter, and I'm being cast at No Name out of nowhere. 2 Chunks fame off that heat, but they are going younger as Beast.
Oh, cool.
I've always loved that character, and I think that could be fun. I think what it's asked to do, I think I could do.
I'm Doge, and do you know what happens to a Doge when it gets struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else. I would play probably Toad. Probably like just a one-off little minion in one X-Men movie because I'm very busy. And I don't want to spend the next 20 years of my life having to eat like only chicken breast and white potatoes to stay in Marvel shape. I could be kind of frumpy, chubby, be a great little minion. I don't even care if it's a named character. Just make me have like one big spike or just kind of weird for like the last act of one of the X-Men movies. That'd be just right for me.
You have one big spike. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Charles Xavier's School for Special Little Boys and Girls.
Exactly.
You can
Your
roll
mutation is
your
enough
R's
that you're
for
like-
a really long time.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this is just really bad acting.
I'm just, they're
or
calling,
if he's a mutant.
they're calling roll and I'm just like, present.
You're just like, this is pretty weird, right? They're like, whoa, yeah, welcome to the school.
And they're like, wow. And I can also roll up in a ball and my mutant name is Armadillo.
Justin Dozier as Clover Tongue.
It spins. I think I would be like Nightcrawler, but in a flashback.
Before he decided to get hero-y.
Nightcrawler when he wasn't taking it too seriously yet. When he was just like a guy.
You would be Kurt. You'd just be Kurt.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm Nightcrawler, but when somebody's like, Kurt, we got 2 drinks going to table 4. And then, yeah, on it.
Yep, I'm there.
Oh gosh. As like the A-list actor that's playing the current version.
Yeah.
Talking about the flashback is just waxing poetically.
Yeah, my life was nothing before I got mutated.
I was terrible. I was literal trash. I was a dirty diaper of a human. It's just me.
Dirty diaper.
It's just me.
Progressive is America's #1 motorcycle insurer, so we understand motorcycles. No, really, we have a bike translator.
Okay, so this bike says she is struggling with her place in the motorcycle community. Well, she says she hasn't peaked yet, but she's having a little epiphany, okay? Oh, that maybe life itself is the peak. Interesting. In my experience, I found that... Oh, so I just translate. Not allowed to have opinions. Got it.
Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.